All right, now one news that's going around now is the expectations or the beginning of polypropylene production in Nigeria, and that's as a result of the Dangote refinery. The manufacturers seem excited about this, and they say they do have some expectations from this polypropylene production and what could come out of it, or what could serve even as raw materials or finished materials from it. So we have the Director General of Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Mr. Shegun Ajayi Kadri. Mr. Kadri, good afternoon and welcome to the program.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me.
Great. So this well, production, they said it to be officially unveiled soon, but production has started, and I believe there's a great number of production that's expected from it. What are the manufacturers expecting from this polypropylene production?
Well, okay, so I think it's cheering to see again that the Dangote Group has made yet another major contribution to the Nigerian economy by the establishment of the refinery. Apart from the 650,000 liters of petrol that is being produced every day, we now have a situation where we have nearly 900,000 tons of polypropylene being produced locally annually. Before now, about 90% of our needs are imported into the country, to the extent that Nigeria ranks 28 or so in the world's demand for polypropylene. And polypropylene constitutes about 18, stands at the 18th position in items that are imported into the country. So for us in the manufacturing sector, it is a welcome development. It actually more than provides for the 250,000 metric tons that is our national demand, which has been grossly non-available in the country. So you can imagine what this is going to do to the sectors that will be impacted: the textile industry, the plastic industry, the furniture industry. So we are going to be saved amounts that are in excess of $267 million. And we are talking about the scarcity and inadequacy of dollar that we spend every year to import this material. So for us in the manufacturing sector, is yet another welcome development. And going forward, we will be able to incentivize investment, more investment in that sector.
Mr. Kadri, I have to tell you that I am personally interested in the textile, because we know what the textile industry has done to this country in the past, and yet we seem to have lost that glory. I notice, of course, you are one very loyal local textile customer. So do we see this like feeding maybe a backward integration, forward integration, whatever way it could come, to resurrect or bring more activity to the textile industry in the country?
Yes, very much so. Incidentally, in my earlier days in Man, I served in Kaduna, where I covered 7 states and Abuja. And we used to have 7 textile industries. They were employing more than 25,000 workers, aged between 18 and 40 years or 40 years. So all of this has collapsed. And we have seen the global trend of the textile industry relying on the petrochemical industry. So you can imagine what kind of boost this is going to bring to the sector. And that it is now available locally and does not require that we continue to look for foreign exchange to be able to meet our demands. It is actually a cherry news. And you will imagine that the sector has witnessed a lot of flight in terms of companies closing down and investors not wanting to come into the sector. So now there's a golden opportunity of availability. And if we are to follow the trend we have seen in Dangote coming into the market and ensuring that we have a lowering of prices. It has been demonstrated in the petroleum sector, so in the supply of PMS. So we should also see this as creating competition in the domestic environment, which should see to the lowering of the cost in that sector. So we are seeing this as an addition to building a competitive textile industry, and of course, by extension, the garment industry in Nigeria. I believe that what we should then be looking forward to is government's deliberate efforts to incentivize more investment in that sector, and looking for support that will allow that we patronize what is made in Nigeria. We are able to earn the respect for patronage of made in Nigerian products in terms of price and quality of delivery.
And I hope we won't see any challenge. When we heard that Dangote refinery was coming, 650,000 barrels capacity, we thought, okay, we're going to have sufficiency. But we know the many dramas that has come since the initiation of that refinery. So just as you have said, perhaps we should just stay optimistic that with this now, you said we're going to save about $657,000 that would have been used to import some of this raw material. So we hope that there'll be no hitches along the road.
Yes, I mean, that's a very, very important statement. I mean, if the economy is going to be saved $267 million of imports at a time that the present government is trying to create a $1 trillion economy, where we have seen the scarcity and inadequacy of supply and high cost of inputs due to the unfavorable exchange rate that we have. So this is huge saving. And what we have always said is that when we see champions like this that are blazing the trail and having sufficiency to the extent that we can even export, and any foreign exchange that comes in to fund our inadequacy is worthy of support. And we are very hopeful, because even the NLPC has a capacity for 13,000 of polypropylene. You add this to what Indorama has and the huge supply that we are going to have from the Dangote industry. Effectively, we have become a net exporter of polypropylene. And it means that all our imports from Saudi Arabia, South Africa, South Korea, China, and India is completely gone. We can now settle for self-sufficiency and even exports to earn foreign exchange. So I believe we are not going to have challenges, and that we will consider the positive impact, not only on Dangote as an investment, but on the economy in terms of job creation, in terms of payment of tax to government, in terms of incentivizing investment in that sector, and ensuring that we have more contribution to the GDP from the manufacturing sector, which has, in a worrisome manner, contributed less than 10–11% over the years.
All right, Mr. Kadri, we certainly do hope for the best with this, beyond the news and the cutting of tapes. Director General, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Mr. Segun Ajayi Kadri, thank you for the time.
It's always a pleasure to be with you. Thank you.